The People's Assembly opens the door for the presidential elections, announcing the 3rd of June as a date for voting. On the day of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, President Assad asserts from Maaloula that no one, how far his terrorism reached, can delete our civilization and history. And Syrian Arab Army units continue to pound the terrorist hideouts, restoring security and stability to several areas. Good afternoon, this is News in English from the Syrian Arab television in Damascus. The People's Assembly has opened today the door for candidacy for the presidential elections in Syria. Speaker of the Assembly, Mohammed Jihad al-Laham, called on the citizens of the Syrian Arab Republic, whether at home or abroad, to practice their right in electing a president. Al-Laham said that based on the provisions of the Constitution of the Syrian Arab Republic and on the provisions of the General Elections Law No. 5 for the year 2014, those who wish to run for the post of President of the Republic are called to submit their candidacy application papers to the Supreme Constitutional Court within a period of 10 days starting tomorrow morning, Tuesday 22nd of April and ending on Thursday the 1st of May. He also set the date for electing President of the Syrian Arab Republic for the citizens who are non-residents in the country in the Syrian embassies on Wednesday, 28th of May 2014, starting from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. according to local time of the city where the embassy is based. As for the Syrian citizens residing at home, Al-Laham said the presidential election starts on Tuesday, the 3rd of June 2014 at 7 a.m. until 7 o'clock in the evening. On Easter Day, President Bashar al-Assad visits the town of Maaloula in Damascus countryside, wishing a blessed Easter for all the Syrians. President al-Assad toured the monastery of Mar Sarkis and Bachus, being briefed on the damages and destruction caused by the armed terrorist groups on the monument, asserting that the acts of those groups indicate their real identity and those who support them. In the hotel of Safir Maaloula, which the terrorist groups had captured for a while, using it as a headquarters for launching their criminal acts, President al-Assad met a group of Syrian Arab Army soldiers and civil defense forces. The president praised the efforts of all who fought the terrorists and defended their homeland after passing through the eastern mountain plain. President al-Assad toured Atallah monastery, which was exposed to deliberate sabotage and destruction by the terrorists. President al-Assad underlined that Maaloula will remain, along with other Syrian landmarks, steadfast in the face of barbarism and obstructionism of anyone who targets the country, and will remain an evidence of the Syrian civilization. On the way back, when passing across the village of Ain al-Tine, a number of the villagers gathered around the president, asserting their stance in support of their country. The president addressed the National Defense Forces in the village, praising their fight alongside the Syrian Arab Army to defend their village and surrounding area. Greek Orthodox Archbishop of Sebastia, Atallah, Hanna, delivered a congratulatory and a solidarity message to the Syrian people on the occasion of Easter, hoping that God will save Syria, its people and army. Archbishop Hanna said that the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad's visit to Maaloula in Damascus countryside, inspecting the damage caused to its monasteries and by armed terrorist groups, indicate that he is not only Syria's president but also a father of all Syrians, Christians and Muslims. Archbishop Hanna expressed the solidarity of the Palestinians in occupied Jerusalem with Syria, stressing that this visit, just like plenty previous others, indicate the failure of the conspiracy that cannot undermine Syria's unity. Masses were held yesterday in Maaloula city to thank God after the Syrian Arab Army had eliminated the terrorists who have wreaked havoc in the city's churches and mosques, and asked for peace for Syria.
شاهدنا كيف أن سيادة الرئيس الدكتور بشار الأسد
Patriarch Johanna X Yazigi of Antioch and all the East for Greek Orthodox Patriarch of the Meltic Greek Catholic Church Gregorius III Laham, a number of representatives of Christian sects in Damascus, and the Vatican ambassador to Syria took part in the masses. Patriarch Yazigi voiced appreciation for President al-Assad's visit to Maaloula city and thanked the Syrian Arab Army that hoisted once again the Syrian flag inside the city that is very dear to all Syrians. He pointed out that all the destruction and pain inflicted upon the city and its people by the terrorists did not stop the Syrians from holding masses in Easter, so that all Syrians, Muslims and Christians alike enjoy peace and security. For his part, Patriarch Laham thanked President al-Assad for visiting the city and said that by holding the masses in Maaloula, we reflect all what this blessed city stands for, with its great heritage and history, which is part of Syria's deep-rooted history.
Three civilians were killed and other 36 were wounded by 3 mortar shells fired by terrorists, hitting the vicinity of Dar es Salaam School and Salihiyya neighborhood. A source in Damascus police command said that 2 civilians were killed and other 36 injured, in addition to material damages as a result of the terrorist attack in that area. Minister of Health Dr. Saad al-Naif has inspected the injured civilians who have been admitted to hospitals after they were targeted by 2 mortar shells that fell close to the building of the Ministry of Health in Damascus. Al-Naif has asserted that 2 civilians were killed and 25 others injured. Most of them were pedestrians, adding that those injured were admitted to hospital for treatment immediately. Syrian Arab Army units inflicted heavy casualties among the terrorists, killing many of them in Damascus countryside and Deir ez-Zor city. Many terrorists from the so-called battalion of Abbad al-Rahman and the so-called brigade of al-Islam swords were killed. Their weapons and ammunitions were destroyed, and many explosive devices were defused in Al-Mleha and around Tamiko Pharmaceutical Company. Syrian Arab Army units also destroyed several hideouts for the terrorists in Arbin and Alia farms in Douma area, and fought with terrorists in Jober, killing many of them and injuring others. While in Deir ez-Zor, Syrian Arab Army units killed many terrorists and injured others, destroying their weapons in the neighborhoods of Al-Hawiqa, Al-Rashidiyya, Al-Urfi, and the old airport, Sina'a, and Sheikh Yassin. Syrian Arab Army units eliminated a number of terrorists, some of whom were leaders of armed terrorist groups and many were non-Syrians. The Syrian Army units also destroyed 2 warehouses that contained missiles, explosive devices, and mortar launching pads in several areas and villages in the northern countryside of Latakia. The Austrian newspaper has disclosed that Interpol has issued a search warrant of 2 Austrian minor girls who left their homeland to Syria via Turkey to fight with the terrorist groups there. A source in the Interpol said that the international organization, together with the families of the 2 girls, were trying to find traces of the 2 girls who left Vienna a week ago, leaving behind messages and footage uploaded to social websites expressing wish to go to Syria. For its part, the Austrian newspaper Der Standard published an article that talks about the same topic, quoting a spokesperson for the police command in Vienna as saying that the 2 minor girls have left behind a written letter to their parents saying that they would be heading for Syria via the Turkish border to join terrorists to be trained on using arms. The newspaper pointed out that the 16-year-old Samra Kisovic and 15-year-old Sabina Simovic have left their parents' homes in Vienna, and that the Interpol has issued a search warrant to locate their whereabouts. The newspaper concluded its article by saying that hundreds of Austrians, Chechen, Bosnian, Turkish and Arab origins have left Austria heading to Syria via Turkey to fight side by side the armed terrorist groups there. The countries that support terrorism in Syria continue to provide all forms of assistance and funding to those terrorists in its desperate attempt to reverse their defeat at the hands of the Syrian Arab Army. The American newspaper Wall Street Journal asserted that the U.S. administration is providing the terrorists in Syria with anti-tank missiles of the type Tau. The newspaper said that Washington's desire to arm Syrian opposition came as a result of the recent victories made by the Syrian army and also after the failure of the Geneva talks, pointing out that the White House did not deny and also did not assert providing the opposition with Tau missiles, but U.S. officials stressed their efforts to increase the capacity of the opposition. The newspaper quoted a spokesperson for the National Security Council of the White House, Bernadette Meehan, as saying that the United States was committed to capacity building among the so-called Syrian moderate opposition by providing assistance to the prominent members of these opposition, stressing that Washington was not obliged to disclose every detail of this assistance. The newspaper added that Washington's refusal to arm Syrian opposition strained its relations with Riyadh. For this reason, Obama traveled to fix relations with al-Saud. Meanwhile, the Central Intelligence Agency is looking forward to expand arming the terrorists and develop their training programs, which has been taking place in Jordan under its supervision, according to the same newspaper. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Now the latest business and market news with Vani Konishian, but after a short break.